Right now at 6, justice for a Clackamas County woman as her family comes face to face with the man convicted of her murder.
He's just pure evil, absolute evil.
Then made-up legal facts contrived out of thin air. The so-called AI hallucinations now costing an Oregon attorney thousands.
The citations are so convincing.
Plus, the lifeline Oregon lawmakers passed to feed families who lost food benefits.
Households that are permanently losing hundreds of dollars of food every month.
And later, the decision that could reignite a decades-old Northwest NBA rivalry.
I am excited that we are one step closer for that.
But first to our top story with a man who authorities say murdered his roommate, hid her body in a shed, then later returned to set the building on fire, set to spend the next 3 decades in prison. Thanks for joining us. I'm David Molko.
And I'm Christine Pedowanich. A Clackamas County judge sentenced 33-year-old Bobby Lee Alsop this afternoon after a jury found him guilty of killing 31-year-old Kaylee Ann Snow. Our John Adams was in the courtroom during sentencing and spoke with Snow's mother. John, what did she tell you?
Yeah, Tracy Snow said it was an incredibly difficult day in court today, and it's been a really tough 2 years since her daughter was killed, but felt like she had to continue fighting on to get justice for Kaylee. In court, we also heard from the man convicted of murdering her today. Tracy Snow speaking in front of a Clackamas County court on Wednesday, explaining the heartbreak and agony her daughter's murder has caused.
What mom ever thinks she will have to bury one of her children at such a young age.
Snow says her daughter Kaylee was kind and caring before her life was ended by Bobby Alsop in March 2024.
She tried to help you too. But instead of being thankful or appreciative or anything like that, you beat her over the head with a hammer and you set her on fire.
Alsop was renting a room at Kaylee Snow's home on Southeast Lavelle Drive in Clackamas County in March of 2024, when prosecutors say he beat her to death and then hid her body in a shed on property. A few days later, Alsop attempted to burn the shed down, but fire crews discovered Snow's body when they arrived on scene.
What kind of monster does that to a human being?
Prosecutors presented security video, DNA evidence, and cell phone records in court linking Alsop to Snow's death, including text messages from Kaylee, where she discussed concern that Alsop would try to kill her. Alsop briefly addressed the court before the sentencing, saying he wasn't responsible for Kaylee's death.
Whether you want to hear this or not, I wasn't involved in her death at all.
Tracy Snow didn't look at Alsop while he spoke and says his statement was full of lies.
He's just pure evil, absolute evil.
Again, Alsop will spend 30 years behind bars for this conviction. His lawyer does say he does plan to appeal this sentence. Back to you.
Cannot imagine the pain her family must be feeling. John Adams reporting. Thank you, John.
In your headlines, Portland Community College is pushing back classes for its spring term by at least a week to April 6th, since it still has not reached a deal with striking educators and staff, though some development and training courses will start as expected on March 30th. Pay, health benefits, and the financial impact of the strike itself to some 2,000 workers all continue to be sticking points in these negotiations.
Portland police have released a sketch of a sexual assault suspect, hoping someone can help identify him. They say on November 1st of last year, the man picked up a teen near the Eastport Plaza on Southeast 82nd, then drove to the East Columbia neighborhood and sexually assaulted her. The teen got away and called for help. In addition to this sketch, police also gave a description of the car, an older model silver van with a cracked windshield and messy interior. If you recognize him, call Portland Police.
Well, tonight the FBI is still looking for information about a triple homicide that happened 3 years ago today. In March of 2023, 3 young men, including 2 high schoolers, were shot and killed in North Portland. Neighbors say they heard dozens of gunshots before officers found the trio dead in a car. 17-year-old Eskinder Tamra, 19-year-old Babu Daoudi, and 20-year-old Patrick Johnson were killed near University Park in the Portsmouth neighborhood. The FBI is offering $25,000 for any information that leads to an arrest.
And in her first interview since her mother's disappearance 53 days ago, Savannah Guthrie says she is still pushing for her mom's safe return. Police think 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie was abducted from her home February 1st. Since then, investigators have followed up on thousands of tips and leads, even ransom notes that have ultimately led nowhere.
Someone needs to do the right thing. We are in agony. We are in agony. It is unbearable. And to think of what she went through.
Cannot believe it's been this long with no answers. You can watch her full interview tomorrow, only here on KGW and NBC. Celine?
Christine, you know, our day started off relatively sunny. We had the clouds and everything, and then we had the showers, and now we're going back to pretty sunny conditions. You'll see right now, looking at our sky camera at the Wells Fargo Tower, really nice shot right now, 49 degrees, so it is a little bit chilly. But the rain's pretty much done. Looking at our radar, you'll see again, it started along the coast early this morning, got to the Portland area around 1:30, 2 p.m. And as you can see, the majority of that rain has just moved off east to the Cascades at this point, and that's the area that's being impacted right now. The Welch's area, Timberline, Mount Hood, seeing that rainfall and also some scattered snow showers. That's going to continue at least for the next few hours in that area. But after tonight, that moves on east, and then we're pretty much left mostly sunny tomorrow. Temperatures are also going to be nice in the upper 50s, and then after that, we're going to be seeing 60s as we get into our weekend. So things are starting to change. I mean, it is spring, so we have to have the spring showers. And then, of course, we also get the sunshine, which you'll see right here. The day starts off a little cool, 35 degrees, mostly sunny, and then those clouds fade out. We're left with sunshine and upper 50s by 5 p.m. We'll talk more about what to expect for your weekend coming up in a bit.
Yeah, looking like a beautiful day there. Thanks, Celine.
New tonight, we are following up on new state funding. We're talking millions of dollars meant to help thousands of immigrants and refugees who have lost their SNAP benefits.
And those funds are slated to go straight to groups that can help make sure that people are getting fed. Libby Dowsett with that update.
The Oregon Food Bank says our hunger crisis is only growing.
The demand that we're seeing, the need at food assistance sites, and what food banks are able to currently provide, that is about a $20 million gap every year.
And now, with legal refugees and humanitarian immigrants getting cut from SNAP, more families are relying on these limited supplies.
When we look at the first group of refugees who lost SNAP in Oregon, 62% of those households had children in it. And these are households that are permanently losing hundreds of dollars of food every month. These are some apples, just a small fraction of the amount that we distribute every week.
Sammy Tia with the Oregon Food Bank says the new funding approved by Oregon lawmakers will serve as one-time emergency funds for those suddenly dropped from SNAP. Before these cuts, the federal food assistance program covered legally supported refugees and immigrants, with the exception of undocumented immigrants. The Oregon Department of Human Services issued KGW a statement saying, in part, while the grant funding cannot fully offset the loss of these essential benefits, it does provide critical transitional support. The Department of Human Services says it's now in the planning stages, trying to figure out how to get the money for food to immigrants, as local food pantries try to find ways to convince families fearful of ICE to reach out for help.
Families should never feel that finding food is more dangerous than foregoing food, but that is what is happening right now in our communities.
Libby Dowsett, KGW News.
And speaking of efforts to help hungry people in our communities, the KGW Great Food Drive is still going strong. With your help, we are almost at our goal of providing 1.2 million meals to local people and families in need. But we still need your help to get there, and it is so easy. You can make a cash donation right now online at kgw.com/fooddrive.
All this week, Mr. Plywood, thank you, is matching all donations up to $5,000. Want to thank all our partners there, local Toyota dealers, Pacific Office Automation, Rivermark Community Credit Union, and Safeway. Thanks for helping make this year's Great Food Drive a huge success.